Today's Soflex Math lesson is subtracting fractions with like denominators, or the same denominator, or common denominators. Just like the adding, they all have the same terms, and they all mean the same thing. So very similar to yesterday's example, we're going to go ahead and work on some of our subtracting. So just like with the adding, we can go ahead and keep our denominator the same, because it's still going to be out of 7 parts. Just instead of adding them together, we're going to be taking them away. And then at the top, we're just going to very simply do 6 minus 1, which is 5. So let's go ahead and illustrate that as well. So it's going to be kind of opposite. So we want to divide this guy up into 7 sections. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, so that's the whole. All right, if you remember in blue, we're going to color in our 6/7. So 6/7 here in blue. All right, and then in this orange color, we're going to try to represent the 1/7. And this time we're taking 1/7 away, so I'm just going to X out that 1/7 to see what we have left. Well, what we have left is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 7. So there's our 5/7. So 5/7 is this orange part from here to here. So you can kind of see it with an illustration once again why our denominator is staying the same. All right, same with our next example. It started with 6, common denominators, like denominators. Now we just subtract the top. 4 minus 2 is 2. And then once again, after we get this far, we're going to say, is there a GCF? Can we do that? Yes, there is. This one's pretty easy because the 2 only has the factors of 1 and 2. So obviously we're going to divide by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So our second answer, 4/6 minus 2/6, is 1/3. So it starts as 2/6, but once again, simplified answers. We're always simplifying our answers. All right, let's look at a couple more examples. All right, so our next one here, let's go ahead and put our denominator down of 9. Okay, 8 minus 2 is 6. Okay, greatest common factor, so we're thinking about the factors of 6, 1, 2, 3, 6. The factors of 9, 1, 3, and 9. Which ones of those were in common? And what was the greatest one in common? In this case, it was a 3. So remember, that is the GCF. I keep saying it, but I just want to really remember or remind you of what to do on each of these problems. And remember, if you can't find anything to divide by, then it's in simplest form. So if you can't divide the top and bottom by the same number, or the GCF is 1, then you're finished. So 6 divided by 3 is a 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So this answer is 2/3. So this problem, 2/3. All right. This next one, one second, let me change that bottom number there. There we go. I meant to write that as a 12, so I changed that up. So 11/12 minus 1/12, so denominator is still going to be a 12. 11 minus 1 is 10. Okay, this time we have all the factors of 1, 2, 5, 10. And then the 12 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. Which one of those was in common and which one was the greatest? Well, the greatest one, again, was a 2. So when you have even numbers, even if you don't find the greatest common factor, divide by 2 to get simpler numbers to work with, and then maybe you can have a better chance of finding the greatest common factor. Finding the greatest common factor means you only have to have one step. You only have to divide once. So it's like the quickest way to do that. All right, so 10 divided by 2 is 5. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Simplest form. So 11/12 minus 1/12 equals 5/6. So you see when we simplify, we started with 9s and we end up with a 3. We started with 12s, we end up with a 6. So when you do simplify, sometimes your denominator will change because we're changing out the parts. All right, let's look at one last example. And just like adding, we might have improper fractions that we're adding or subtracting. In this case, we're going to subtract. So we're still going to have our 5 at the bottom. Okay, 23 minus 7 is going to get you an answer of 16. Our answer is still an improper fraction, so we're going to have to turn that into a mixed number. And if you forgot how to do that, let's take a quick review. We're just going to divide it out. Because remember, it's 16 divided by 5. 16 divided by 5. So we had 3, remainder 1. So remember, 3 times 5, 15, remainder 1. So our whole number is the 3. The remainder is the numerator, and our divisor or denominator stays the same. So our final answer, the correct answer, is 3 1/5. So you had improper fraction minus improper fraction equals mixed number 3 1/5. So once again, just like the other lesson, if you need to go back into our previous units and practice either the greatest common factor or the equivalent fractions or converting a improper fraction to a mixed number, once again, feel free to do that because we are going to be using that throughout this entire unit and the units to come. So we really have to kind of have that figured out before we keep moving on. Thanks again for watching Soflex Math, and we'll see you in the next lesson.